Yeah, so we're going to do triceps and hips today. Please be mindful of your body, any injuries. Come into child's pose. Don't do something if it's uncomfortable or painful. Hip openers are quite strong, so just be careful. What we might do actually, if you've got a belt handy, we could just incorporate a little bit of hip opening with the belt. I'm just going to grab mine. I think it might be quite a nice idea. So let's come onto our backs. So we have the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. So we're just going to start off by taking our few breaths and sigh out the first 2 or 3. So just to help you come into the practice. Just bring the hands to rest gently on the belly. Just come into the breath and let's breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. And breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4. Just notice that belly rise as we breathe in. Feel the ribs push, just drawing into the hands, nice and spacious. Just slowly move your hands to around the ribs now. And just draw your attention to the ribs and the back of the ribs as well. And just notice as we breathe in and out, just pressing into the hands. And I want you to slowly bring your hands onto the hips and around the pelvis and just notice what's happening. Just become aware of how you're feeling right here, right now. Just drawing on some of what we've been learning recently about the hips being the center of the body. We initiate all our movements from the pelvis. Pelvis is the center. And let's just take a couple more breaths. Slowly, on the next inhale, let's draw the legs in towards each other. So take your time. I'm going to bring each knee into the chest and give yourself a nice little hug and a gentle rock from side to side. And when you come to stillness, I want you to inhale as you lift the forehead towards the knees. Start engaging the core here, working the abs a little bit. Shoot the fingers away and exhale to release. Take 2 more in your own breath. And release. And we're going to take the legs up towards the sky, press the feet towards the ceiling as we flex the feet, bringing the toes towards the face. You can take the arms up and mirror it with the hands and the wrists. And we're going to point and flex. Feet are rotating the ankles and the wrists in both directions. And just slowly start opening the legs out. We're just working into the thigh and the groin muscles. Again, just take your time, be gentle with your body. You can take a little rock from side to side if that's available. I'm just going to hold it here for a few breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly draw the legs back together and just bring the knees into the chest. And give yourself a nice little rock and a nice little hug. We're going to lift those legs up in the air again. And we're just going to work just a few moments with the abs. So it's going to be a bit of an action-packed class, quite a lot to fit in. Bring the hands to the side, and we're going to do our leg raises. Take one at a time. So you can tap the abs, check they're working, check they're engaging. We don't want to do this too quickly, so do it with a little bit of control. You can bring the hands to rest on the side. Let's do about 10 each side. I think we're about halfway. And then when you're done, just slowly bring yourself back, bring the knees into the chest and give yourself a nice little hug. Okay, so for the next exercise, we're going to bring the legs out wide and we're going to take our circles. You can take them in one direction. You can tap the abs. And let's do about 10 in one direction. Keep breathing. And then hold. You've done your final one. And slowly draw the knees back into the chest. Just take a few moments. Just notice how your body's feeling. You're trying to create a mindful practice as well. So we're not just flowing through for the sake of it. Really trying to encourage presence and being in the moment. We're going to open the legs out wide again. And this time we're going to do the circles in the opposite direction. So about 10 in this direction as well. Slowly bring the knees back in. Just give yourself a nice little hug. And squeeze. And this time, we're going to bring the knees to the mat, the feet to the mat even. And just check that you can brush the heels. And we're going to work into the obliques. So we're going to take our right hand and we're going to move, lift the chest and move the hand towards the right to tap the right heel. Come through center over to the left. So we're going to take 10 on each side. We go back to center and release. So just take a few moments rest here. We're going to move on to a bit of the hip openers. So if you've got your belt handy, just bring it closer to you. We're going to do the ones that we've done before. So we're going to take the right leg up first and bring the belt to rest safely in that middle bit of that right foot. You can keep the left leg bent, or you can straighten it, which is a bit more challenging. And we're going to bring the belt, so we're holding it with both hands, elbows resting on the mat. And we're just going to gently breathe that right leg towards the upper body. We're opening up the hamstring for the moment. You can bend that knee a little bit. If you find that you're bending it so much you're not getting a hamstring stretch, you just take the leg a little bit away from the face. But opening up the hamstring first of all. Just take a couple more breaths. And we're going to release that right foot and just squeeze that right knee into the chest and just flex that foot and just rotate the ankle a few times in both directions. So we're going to stay with the right. We're going to do one more exercise on this side. So this is going to be a nice juicy hip opener. Going to bring that belt safely around that right foot. Take hold of the belt with the right hand. You can have the left hand resting on that left hip. I'm going to try and draw that left glute down towards the mat. If it's lifting as we come out, just draw away from the movement. Just slowly bring that right leg out towards the right side. Just take your time. Keep that left hand there. Find it's lifting, and just draw that right leg up. It's quite a strong stretch here. And take it a little bit deeper if that's available. Work with your body here, work with the breath. If there's more space, then just go with it, as long as it's not painful. And equally, if you want to come out slightly, then do so. Let's take a couple more breaths. When you're ready, slowly come up on the inhale. So take your time, nice and safe. Release that belt. And let's squeeze that right knee in again. And you can take a few rotations. You can flex and point. It's entirely up to you. Nice. I'm going to move over to the other side. So I'm going to swivel around. So we're going to get that left leg up in the air. And again, you can keep the right knee bent or straight. It's up to you. Take the belt around the left foot, nice and safe. Elbows on the mat. Grip that belt with both hands. Find your safe point. And we're going to inhale as we draw that left leg towards the upper body. So just be aware it might be different on this side, and that's completely fine. And you can use that breath to give you a bit more space if it's there. But again, just listen to your body. Just take 3 more breaths. When you're ready, just release. And we'll bring that knee into the chest. Nice squeeze. And let's rotate the ankle, flex and point that left foot. Nice. I'm going to stay with the left for one more exercise. Going to take the belt around that foot. Take a look with the left hand. You can straighten that right leg. Place the right hand on that right hip. I'm going to try and keep it down, just to maximize that stretch. And also so we're not putting too much pressure on the left side as well. The groin and thigh. It's a really good counter pose, I suppose, to sitting at a desk all day with your legs together. It's quite nice to have this freedom. So just take 3 more breaths. And when you're ready, slowly come in. So you can bend that knee a little bit to help you come back and squeeze it into the chest, and you can flex and point and rotate the ankles. So just take a moment, just notice how you're feeling. And when you're ready, just slowly bend the knees and bring the feet to rest on the mat. You're going to bring the arms by the side, and as you inhale, I want you to lift the hips up, coming into your bridge pose. I'm going to keep this as an active bridge pose, so try to engage those inner thigh muscles and keep the knees a little bit in line if that's available. And just be aware of the lower back here. Try to avoid any kind of pinching. So see if you can lift the chest and open the heart. So we're opening up that thoracic spine. Take one more inhale. Exhale, slowly release and come back to the mat. All right, just hug the knees in. Take a nice little rock. And gently release the feet to the mat. We're going to bring the arms to the side. And I want you to inhale as you lift the hips up and just shift them over to the right a couple of inches. And we're going to fall over onto the left side. So a nice twist over to the left, breathing into that right side body. Take the gaze wherever it's comfortable. And remember, if you want to bring the knees up towards the chest, then you're working more into that middle back. So do what you need. And I want you to feel that breath all the way through that right side body. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale to release. Slowly come up, back to center. We're going to bring the arms to the side, and we're going to inhale as we lift the hips up. You can take one leg in the air as well if that's available. Try to keep that lift in the hips. We're going to hold it here for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. And slowly come back down. Arms to the side. Inhale, lift the hips. Shift it over to the left as we twist to the right. Now I want you to draw that left shoulder blade towards the mat. So nice and big here. So it might be different on this side, and that's absolutely normal. Let's just take a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, slowly bring yourself back to center. We're going to take the arms to the side. And we're going to inhale as we lift the hips up again. And you can take the other leg in the air. Try to keep that lift in the hips. For 3, for 2, for 1, and release. And slowly come back to the mat. We're going to draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice little hug and a gentle rock from side to side. And I want you to start rocking up and down the spine. And we're going to meet in a comfortable cross-legged position. You can roll out if that's preferable. It's entirely up to you. We're just going to be here for a short while. Just bring the hands to rest on the knees. And we're going to inhale as we lift the shoulders up. Exhale to release. And just take a few of these nice big shoulder rocks in both directions. And just come back to center. And we're going to inhale as we lift the arms, take the gaze up. Exhale to release. Inhale, exhale. Just take 3 more. Your own breath. Nice. And we're going to come into our tabletop position. So hands spread out nice and wide, wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips. We're going to take our cat-cow breath. As you inhale, I want you to tilt the pelvis towards the front of the body. And then I want you to slowly draw the shoulders in towards each other as the gaze comes up. Exhale as you reverse that motion. So take your time, nice and slow. Feel free to take it out to the side. Any other kind of movements that you need. Just listen to your body. Just take a couple more and slowly come back to your neutral spine. We're going to sit back on the heels just for a few moments. I want you just to rotate the wrists in both directions. You're going to open and close the hands like so. Couple more moments. Slowly bring your hands back to the mat. We're going to come into our downward facing dog. We're going to work into the triceps in just a brief moment, but come into your dog. Take your pedal in or bending the knees, whatever you need. We're going to inhale as we lift the heels, exhale to lower. Take 2 more. We need to feel that pelvis nice and strong. Breathe into the back body as well. So we're not just sinking the chest towards the mat. And we're going to work the triceps now. So we're going to do a few rounds of this. You can just do it as I explained it the first time. So we're going to lower the elbows to hover and lift. lower the elbows to hover. Hold it here for 3, for 2, for 1, and lift. I want you to take that right leg in the air, and I want you to hover the elbows one more time and lift. And let's come forward into a 3-legged plank. I want you to bend the elbows, work the triceps, and lift. Come back into your 3-legged dog. And release. And let's take the other side. So we're going to lower the elbows and lift. Lower the elbows to hover and lift. Take that left leg in the air. Lower the elbows and lift. And let's come back into 3-legged plank. Lower the elbows and come back into 3-legged dog and release. And we're going to take 3 lion's breaths here. And slowly drop the knees and bring yourself into child's pose, because we're going to run through that exercise one more time. And it is quite strong on the triceps, so just take it easy. Take one more breath in child's pose. And slowly come back to your downward facing dog. So we're going to lift those hips up. So remember to keep your dog nice and strong. We're going to lower the elbows and lift. Lower the elbows and lift. We're going to lift that right leg in the air. Drop the elbows and lift. Come forward into 3-legged plank. Bend the elbows. Work the triceps. Lift up into 3-legged plank. Come back into 3-legged dog. Release that right foot to the mat. So just check that you're still keeping your dog shape when you're up as well. And we're going to lower the elbows and lift. Lower and lift. So we're going to take that left leg in the air and let's lower the elbows and lift. And slowly come forward into your 3-legged plank. Let's bend the elbows, lift up, and back into your 3-legged dog. And release. Let's take 3 lion's breaths. And slowly drop the knees. We'll come back into child's pose. So just do whatever child's pose you need. I'm going to take 3 more breaths here, and I want us to meet in our plank pose. I'm going to just do the triceps a little bit more. When you're ready, let's come back into plank pose. And we're going to do our chaturanga push-ups again. So we're going to bend the elbows, bring the chest forward, and lift. So take 5 of these. Check your alignment as well. Make sure you're not dipping into the hips. If you are, then you can drop the knees. When you've done your 5, just come back into child's pose for 3 breaths. Let's come back into plank pose and let's do 5 more. So remember, you're not bending back into the elbows, you're bringing that chest forward. So you're really working the triceps nice and strong. Drop back into child's pose. So let's take 5 breaths here. And we're going to meet in downward facing dog. We're just going to do a little bit more. So when you're ready, let's come back into downward facing dog. And this time we're going to drop the elbows. We're going to do 10. You can hover them and lift. But again, try to see that you're keeping your downward dog shape. I'm going to do 10, hopefully. If you need to do less, that's absolutely fine. You have to listen to your own body. And when you've done your 10 or however many, I want you to take the gaze between the hands and slowly walk the feet to the top of the mat. We're going to come into our ragdoll for a few moments. There's a good chance to rest the triceps. We did start a couple of minutes late, so we've got about 15 minutes to go. So just swing it out, shake the head, nod the head. And I want you to bring yourself to stillness. Take the hands wherever they reach. Toes, mat, knees, shins, thighs. And we're going to inhale as we lift the chest, straighten the arms. Exhale to release. Just take a few of these in your own time. When you're ready, let's all slowly come up. Take your time. I'm going to float the arms up, point the fingers to the sky, come onto the tiptoes, nice big stretch. And exhale to release. Take a few shoulder rolls. We're going to inhale as we lift the arms. Take hold of the right hand, the right wrist, sorry, with the left hand. I'm going to stretch it over to the left. So breathe into that right side body. Nice and deep. And inhale as we come back to center. Switch it, stretch it over to the right. Try to keep the hips in line. So we're really stretching the upper body here. And we're going to inhale as we come back to center. And release. And just take a few shoulder rolls and slowly come into your Tadasana. So you keep the feet together or apart. Just very quickly on Tadasana, a lot of people stress about the pelvis, and this is again something I've been learning. Rather than drawing the tailbone down towards the mat where you're tilting the pelvis behind, just keep the pelvis neutral. Just do what your body naturally does. And what you want really is a sort of straight line. So you want the hip, sort of the heads to be here, the hip joints to be facing forward, and you're just coming all the way down. So just a nice neutral pose. And actually, another thing I learned is rather than all four corners of the feet, you do actually want a bit more weight towards the heels. That's more natural for the body. So come into your Tadasana, draw the shoulders away from the ears, arms by the side. Let's take 3 deep breaths. And we're going to inhale to rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as we step back into plank pose. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale as we lower down. Chest comes forward. Inhale, we open the heart, press the feet into the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now you can stay in dog for a few breaths. If you want a bit more of a challenge, you can drop the elbows, work into the triceps a little bit more. And when you're ready, take a deep inhale. We're going to exhale as we gaze between the hands, step or walk, feet to hands. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale to release. Let's just take a few breaths here. We're going to run through a couple more with a sequence. That's going to be a little bit on the hips. Just flow with it. Don't worry if you get it a little bit different to what I'm explaining. That's absolutely fine. So let's take a couple more breaths. We're going to inhale to rise. Exhale. Let's fold forward from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let's step back into plank. Let's hold plank for a couple of breaths. Press the hands into the mat. Shoulders are nice and strong. Take one more inhale. Exhales, you lower down. Inhales, we open the heart. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to inhale that right leg in the air. And exhale, as you bend the knee, bring the right foot beside the right hand. And we're going to come into a twist. So you can come onto the ball of the foot or you can drop the heel. And we're going to inhale as we shoot the right arm up towards the sky. We're going to hold it here. Let's take one more inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to release that right hand to the mat. I want you to walk the hands on the inside of that right foot as you slowly come into your side lunge. And you can have a little go at taking the hands off the mat. Just working into that left leg as well. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly bring the bum to the mat. We're going to bring that right foot, press it in towards that left thigh. Take the body over towards that left leg. Flex the foot, micro bend the knee. Inhale, we lift and lengthen. Exhale, let's hinge forward. Working into that left hamstring. So if you find you're bending the knee so much that you lose the stretch, just come up. It's not about grabbing that foot, it's just lengthening that upper body as well. Now I want you to inhale as you come all the way up. Float that right arm behind you. Inhale as we lift the hips up, open the heart, nice and big. And exhale, come back down. Frame the front of the mat with the hands. And we're going to inhale as we shoot that right leg up in the air, three-legged dog. Option to stay here, option to stack hips, option to wild thing. And remember in wild thing, we're shooting that heart up as well. So we're not just pinching at the lower back. And when you're ready, come back into three-legged dog and release. We should all be in downward facing dog. Let's take a couple more breaths. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale, gaze between the hands, step or walk, feet to hands. We're going to inhale for our halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise, gaze to the sky. Exhale to release. Let's just take a few moments here. Wow, it's hot. Just come back into your Tadasana. Remember to spread the feet out there. We're going to inhale to rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let's step back into plank. Check your alignment. So nice and strong in the core. Take an inhale and exhale as we bend. Bringing the chest forward. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg in the air. Exhale, bend the knee, bring the left foot beside the left hand. You can stay on the ball of the left foot as we twist over to the left. Take one more inhale. Exhale to release. And we're slowly going to walk the hands on the inside of the left leg this time as we come into our side lunge. So you're lifting onto that right heel. Option to release the hands is entirely up to you. And exhale as you bring the bum to the mat. And bring that left foot in towards that left, right thigh even. Turn the body to face that right leg. Inhale as you lift and lengthen. Exhale, let's hinge forward. So really take your time finding your position here. So as you inhale, lift and lengthen through the upper body as well. And exhale as you come forward. Slowly come up on the inhale. Going to take the left hand behind this time. Inhale as we shoot that right arm up, opening the hips. And exhale to release. So let's turn ourselves to face the front of the mat. You're going to shoot that left leg in the air for three-legged dog. And you can stack the hips. And you can wild thing. Entirely your choice. We're almost there. And let's come back into our three-legged dog. And release. We have 5 minutes to go. Take a couple more breaths now, downward facing dog. Take one more inhale. And exhale as you gaze between the hands, step or walk feet to hands. We're going to inhale, we lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Gaze to the sky. Exhale to release. Just take a few breaths here. When you're ready, bring the hands over to the hips, and we're going to open that left leg out and come into our goddess pose. So I want the toes to be away from the midline, and I want you to slowly sink into your seat. We're working into the hips and the inner thigh muscles. We're going to hold it here. You can go a little bit lower if it's available. I'm going to slowly pulse it here, so you can bring the arms up. And let's just stay here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and hold. Just keep it nice and strong. And inhale as we come all the way up. We're going to bring the hands behind us, take hold of the fists, and we're going to shoot the hands towards the mat. As we inhale, we open the heart, and exhale as we come forward for our nice forward fold. Couple more breaths. We're going to inhale as we come all the way up. Release the arm, just shake it out. We're going to frame that front foot. We're going to come back into our downward facing dog. Let's take 3 lion's breaths here. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to gaze between the hands and slowly come through to seated. And I want you to bring yourself all the way down, first of all. And we're going to have a nice big stretch and release. And then come onto your forearms, because we're going to do something a little bit different to get us into Shavasana. Come onto your forearms like so. And I want you to breathe into the upper body, lift the chest, really feel that length in the ribs as well. And then slowly come back onto the mat. And what you'll find is that you're lessening that lumbar arch. Well, the one thing I was learning that when you're laying back, you have a deeper arch in the lumbar area because of the bum. It's creating that natural lift. So just come into your final Shavasana. Closing the eyes, softening the face. I want you to start deepening the breath. Slowly start wiggling fingers and the toes. Let's rotate the ankles and the wrists in both directions. I want you to slowly bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice little hug. I'm going to just come out into a nice big stretch, whatever you need. And in your own time, I want you to meet me in a comfortable cross-legged position. Just keeping the eyes closed and the face soft. We're going to end today's practice with our 3 clearing breaths. I want you to bring the hands to heart center if you want. Slowly bringing the thumbs up to the third eye. I want to thank you all for today's practice, and I want to thank you all for joining me on this journey. The inner light in me will always honour the inner light in you. Thank you for today's practice. Thank you, my lovelies.
See you next week.
See you next week. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.